Did you know, in Cologne, Germany, where Gamescom is held, the cathedral took 632 years to complete? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 137. My name's Gareth Bryan, I'm going to be your host, and on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How you doing, James?
Hello, Gareth. Glad that you've seen me this time.
I know.
I'm not too bad, thank you.
I ignored you last week. I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, very good.
I know. We've made up since then.
We have. On my virtual right is Mr. Paul Renshaw. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Gareth. I'm just constantly in awe at your sheer professionalism and everything else as you do these introductions to the podcast absolutely flawlessly week after week. So
absolutely, never make a mistake.
Never.
Good. On my virtual opposite, I never asked Richard. Do you like being opposite me, Richard?
I've been in worse positions.
My goodness.
That's behind the scenes podcast. If you want to listen to that later on. Mr. Richard Dobson, how you doing, Richard?
Good. That bonus is for subscribers only.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Exactly. What's your week been like?
Other than the fact that I've had a cold, not too bad.
Oh.
I managed to watch the Woodstock 99 documentary this week.
What did you think?
It was very interesting. There was a whole lot of finger pointing from various parties, but I think even as a viewer, you could see where it fell apart. And the documentary did a good job of sort of showing everyone's cases that they were trying to make as to why it wasn't their fault, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could start to see it unfolding, and you know where it fell apart.
If you don't know anything about it, it's a Netflix documentary, and it's about the Woodstock 1999 festival, which was like 30 years after the original Woodstock, and basically they open a portal to hell. I'm not that far off, really, and it is quite. There's some horrible stories in there, isn't there, Richard? So, but it's really worth a watch, because I at the time, and this is mine and Paul's probably time when we were young in our 20s.
Easy.
Yeah, and I didn't really pay any attention to it happen. I didn't know anything about this at all. I just thought it was this thing that happened that was pretty naff. I didn't really think about it. So it was very interesting. So if you get a chance, watch it, I would say to anyone. Paul, what about you? What's your week been like?
Well, I haven't watched any exciting documentaries. It's been a steady week, really. I haven't done anything exciting. I've just got up in the morning, gone to work, come home again, sat down, written a review, gone to bed, got up in the morning, gone to work, and so on. That's basically been my week.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for excitement, you're looking in the wrong place.
Any interesting achievements on Xbox you got at all?
Well, you know something, Gareth? It's funny you should say that. Yeah. I feel like we're building up to something here. As the regular listener would know to the podcast, me and you were having a little bit of a competition, weren't we? To see who could reach 400,000 G first. And I learned a valuable lesson this week, which is that when you were in a competition with somebody trying to get as many achievements as you can, don't do it against a out-of-work actor, because they've got all of the time in the world while you're at work going, I can't believe he's getting more achievements. So yes, congratulations on your victory, Gareth.
First time he said congratulations to me. It's just been abused.
Well, you know, I think it would be. Thanks, James. Easy now, honestly.
It's the truth.
You know,
I've seen the stats.
it's not the truth, and it's not the stats. He did beat me by a good amount, yes, I have to say. But as I said, in my defence, I have to work full time and try and raise a small child, whereas Gareth takes his dog for a walk occasionally and takes a photograph of the River Thames. So
all I get from your job is that you're either in a traffic jam or you're posting GIFs.
yeah, well, that is my job. I am the head of GIFs.
Great, no, it was good. It was good fun. We won't do it again though because I never want to see another achievement in my life. James, what about you? What's your week been like?
It's been pretty boring, to be honest.
Oh.
I can't match even Paul's week for excitement.
No.
But Blackpink had a new song out this week.
God.
So yes, that's boring.
And it's really bad.
Oh.
But it's still got,
Oh my!
It got 200 million views in its first week.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous.
And were you
It is one of their worst
198
songs.
million of them?
No. I literally would rather not hear it again anytime soon.
Oh no.
Which is a shame.
Do you not watch
We've
it?
got a full album coming up soon.
I didn't think you
January.
watched these. I didn't think you watched these videos for the music, James.
We're gonna
What are you trying to do?
we're gonna stop there.
I just thought you were a big fan of the choreography. That's all.
Yeah, excellent dance moves. Excellent.
But we've been busy because we've been watching Gamescom, of course, this week. So we're doing a Gamescom Special today. So we're looking at the two shows on the Tuesday night, which was the Gamescom opening night, and Future Game Show, which happened on the Wednesday night. So we're going to do our favourite games from them. We're going to pick 4 each. I'm going to talk through why we excited about these things. But first of all, it was their first live show for a couple of years. Let's talk about not the games first of all. Did we think it was a successful live show? Paul, did you enjoy this live show? The live element?
I did, to be fair. What I didn't like were the awards.
Right.
Because the woman that was giving the awards out, I swear, is like some kind of android. And like the people that were accepting the awards didn't look that thrilled to be there and suddenly being thrust in front of the crowd and going, "Well, go on, say something." But other than that, I thought Jeff did a reasonable job. And it's always nice to see Hideo Kojima on a thing. So yeah, overall, I quite enjoyed it.
I would say that Paul woman, I think, was given the worst job in the world to try to.
Yes.
All she had to do was do the links, and it was like, why did you even bother doing that? It's awful job to do. And she obviously couldn't see an auto cue. She had to use her cards, so it was like that was really badly done. But you're absolutely right about the awards. The whole thing about the awards being for games that they're not even played yet or reviewed that are winning is weird. Always is weird, isn't it? It's like,
yeah.
And also then the people, bless them, giving speeches that they've won the Oscar. And it's like, I don't think no one knows what the game is yet. It's such a weird thing. It's a very weird thing. Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. Richard, you were a big fan of Kojima's announcement, weren't you? I could see that when we were on the
Yeah, so you knew at some point where it was like, it was going to make an appearance. But I just felt that this was just so shoehorned in that the only announcement that he's got is that he's starting a podcast. And it's like, at what, I think, well, no doubt he'll be at the Game Awards as well. And if he's not announcing a new game, what has he got to say for himself anymore?
I like the way he goes, I'm busy working on games, but I've got a podcast. It's like, you're not doing these games. I'm not doing anything.
But I think that was then overshadowed by the mini thing, which followed straight after.
Yeah. I was going to say to James about this mini thing.
Yeah.
What do you, James? What did you think about the mini thing? Did you think it was a lovely bit of integration?
Oh, my goodness!
I mean, it was probably the low light of the show, and I love Pokemon.
Yeah.
So if it isn't catching my attention, then what is the point? But yeah, the co-host stuff, the Kojima. If you take all that out, it was a decent show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you say, the awards, there was like 3 nominations for each one.
Yeah.
I think it was mostly the same games in each category.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why?
I know. There's
Why?
no reason. There's no
It's
need for it.
unnecessary.
Yeah, no need for it.
I do have to ask though. Now that Hideo Kojima is doing his own podcast, does that mean that this is the last episode of ours?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
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 Cool.
Good.
Because there's no point going against him.
No, exactly. No. But we're here to talk about the games, aren't we? Let's do it. So we're going to do 4 each from Gamescom, first of all. Let's start with Paul. Let's start with you, Paul.
God, I knew you were going to say that.
Let's
start with Paul, who hasn't got the list up yet.
What's your first one? Do you want me to tell you what your first one is? Because I can see it. I can see the list. Begins with L, ends with P.
Does it have eyes of in the middle?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Right, excellent. Well, in that case, then I'm going to talk about Lies of P, which I've seen this before. I was looking at this game, thinking, "Oh, this looks interesting." You know, I like a bit of combat. It looks a bit Souls-like and everything else. And then, to my surprise, found out that it was a reimagining of the Pinocchio story. Now, I don't remember from watching the Disney film quite so much swordplay and magic and all the other things that seem to be on show in this trailer. But to be honest, the art style and everything else really did look very interesting. I think I'm going to have quite a lot of time for this when it launches. I mean, I know that you're a fan of this genre, Gareth. What did you think?
I am. I'm reviewing another big one at the moment. I loved it. Yeah, I think it looked great. I think it looked really interesting. But I think why, in a sense, sometimes I get a bit like, oh no, we just copying the Souls format, and whatever happens from software, do it the best. Even doing a couple at the moment, and I think this has got some more. It's not just a sort of Souls game. It looks a bit more kind of RPG and kind of more interesting platforming and puzzly stuff. So I think it looks great. I'm really excited about it. And it was great seeing, is it Gestapo? What's his name? Gestapo? It's not Gestapo, is it? That's
Geppetto.
That's it, Geppetto. Gestapo.
Geppetto. Yeah. It's taken a dark turn now, and I think, there's no Nazis in there as well. All we need is zombies, and we've got the bingo.
Yeah. Oh, Gestapo. And he looked.
That's a DLC.
Yeah, obviously.
He looked a bit like the nemesis of him. So yeah, that kind of that was really interesting. And yeah, I think it looks great. And also, it's coming to Game Pass, which is amazing in 2023. When in 2023, we don't know. James Richards, you like the look of this?
Yeah, I'll give this one a play on Game Pass, definitely.
Yeah. James is not so keen.
It might be a bit too dark for me.
Yeah.
I'll stick to Disney Pinocchio, a little bit of happy-go-lucky Jiminy Cricket. That's what I want.
Yeah, good. It does look great.
It does look good, though.
Yeah. But I heard, I think, Richard, you said, didn't you? You said there's no Jiminy Cricket, but I heard there was a little bit of Jiminy Cricket. There was something that could have been Jiminy Cricket, like a voice-off.
Yeah, there was something at the end where he was saying about his conscience, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So I thought that was Jiminy Cricket too. But
good. There we go.
All right.
Richard wasn't paying attention.
Richard wasn't keen.
Was it inside a lantern? I think it was a lantern that spoke.
Really?
Yeah, I think he was inside the lantern.
Oh, that's in then. He loves it. Richard, what's your first game?
My first game is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. So when I saw the clowns appear from delivering the pizza, I had to instantly text my friend because it's her favourite film of all time, and she sort of plays games a little bit, but yeah, she'll be all over this. I was a little bit disappointed that it was another asymmetric multiplayer horror game, but it's from the guys that did Friday the 13th, the game, so I think it's in good hands anyway. What was it, 3-on-7?
Wow.
Which is, it's quite a large lobby, that, but we'll see. But yeah, I just think it's going to be tons of fun. and it's really going to get the horror comedy aspect down, I think, with this game.
They're really popular, those games, aren't they? And they are
Yeah.
really good fun when I've played. I've just not had the longevity of playing it for a long time. I've only sort of gone in a couple of games.
I think that's my issue with them too. And did the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one come out, or is that still on its way?
Well, yeah, I think it might be on its way still. I can't remember that being out.
But yeah, that was another one, and I think that is the way to go with these games. But it's almost like I argued a while back that everyone needed to pick one looter shooter to sort of dabble in, and I think it's getting to the stage with these horror multiplayer games.
Yeah,
this one could be the one for me.
God, Killer Clowns, good, nice little trailer as well. Really liked it. Good, James. What's your first pick?
I think it's the Kalisto Protocol.
Mm.
It's not my kind of game at all, but it is a survival horror. But every time I see the gameplay in the trailers, I'm always in awe of the violence. I just love it. I mean, in this one in particular, I think the main character is a prisoner. He uses what kind of gun is it? A gravity gun?
I'd say so.
Yeah, to hold one of the enemies in place, while another enemy attacks him. So it's like a meat shield. I like that. And it seems if you take too long, the enemies get more powerful. You've got to be quite nifty in the old shooting. But what was the other that I enjoyed? Oh, and it showed where he went down a water-filled tunnel.
Yeah.
And just at the end, you got mangled by a fan.
You like
and
that?
I thought, I wish I had the stomach to play these games. It looks so damn good. But I know it's going to be scary as hell.
I tell you what, look,
yeah,
I think the water looked great in that trailer. I was really impressed by that. But also I really liked him hitting things as he went down. So you really felt that had a really good kind of like, it was a really great kind of dynamic. And it really reminded me of the Tomb Raider, the games have that kind of, the most recent it had a bit of that. But yeah, it does look great. It looks really good. What I love about Kalisto is the developer who comes out and talks about it every time. He looks like he should be in New Jersey as a mobster. And he talks like it. Has that great New York accent. I even had to stop Bernadette and say, Bernadette, look at this guy, listen to him. Because he's just like, oh man, forget about it. He's like
the guy that did Dead Space.
Yeah, he's great. He's amazing. He's like, how have you got to games? It's brilliant. It's like totally, completely what you don't think. It's real great. I love him. Yeah, no, it looks great. December, that's coming. Still there. It's good. No,
December 2nd.
No, I think that's going to come. I don't think that's going to be delayed.
No,
I've got a feeling.
That one.
Good. Who's next? Oh, it's me. Well, look, I loved most of your games because you basically picked first, and then I just. But the one I really first of all really loved was a game called Under the Waves, and it's coming out in 2023, and it's from what it's really nicely put together trailer. It's an underwater adventure. You play the sort of diver who's going underwater, and it has that kind of narrative adventure feel to it. But just the way the kind of underwater world looked, the lighting, I think it's in Unreal Engine 5, you can kind of tell straight away. That just really captured me. And it looks just amazing. Do you remember this, any of you three?
The only thing, obviously, being highly trained professionals, I'm sure we were all making notes as we were watching this. And my only note against that game is Gareth.
Yeah, okay.
So, so I'm glad to see that
it's top of my thing straight away. I thought this is amazing. It just looked beautiful as well.
This is Gareth. This is so.
I think is it Quantum Dream who've done it? I think it's Quantum Dream.
Quantum Dream,
the Heavy Rain people, isn't it? That gang. So yeah, it just looks amazing. Looks amazing. I'm really excited about another game for 2023. I think it was spring, maybe, or maybe just 2023. I can't remember. But yeah, that's my first one, my first pick. Let's go back to Paul for his second one. Oh.
Okay,
Do you want me to give you a clue?
No, I am very organised and I have the list here in front of me. I'm going to choose Atlas Fallen, which again looks it was just like there wasn't any gameplay, was there? It was just a CG trailer sort of thing. But from what I saw, it looked fantastic. It was these two people fighting giant monsters and battering them, and it just looked amazing. From reading around, it's not another Souls-like. The audience will be pleased to hear. It's more of an action RPG. So I mean, I'm here for that. Anything where you can hit big monsters with swords is right in my wheelhouse, as they say.
And it's sort of in a deserty world, isn't it?
Yes, and I liked it when they were rebuilding the bridge to get everything across.
That's right.
And then the monsters attacked, and it just looks like it's a destroyed world. But the guys seem to have the ability to put it back together temporarily. So how that's going to play into the gameplay as well, I think, will be quite interesting.
And And they were kind of like they were traveling across the desert when they're quite fast together. And do you reckon it's co-op? Or do you reckon we don't know?
It would be nice, wouldn't it? I mean, there was no hints about it, but I'm all about the co-op rather than the PvP these days. So maybe me and you can give it a try, Gareth.
We can, yeah.
See who gets the most achievements.
Exactly. That looks great. It does look great. 2023, did it have a date on it? It might have done. Maybe I've written this down. I think that was quite good. I did write things down, would you believe? Atlas, 2023, yeah.
There you go.
Great. Big games coming next year. Massive games. Richard, what's your next one?
My next one is one that's just fallen into spring 2023 category after being delayed. But I wanted to talk about Hogwarts Legacy as well. And what I'm going to say about this trailer that we saw during opening night live, I wasn't blown away by this new trailer.
No.
But what I did hear was that this whole thing about the dark arts is actually like a little sub-quest that you can do. So it's not part of the main story. But I remember the long 10-15 minute one we got during a state of play. It went through everything that you could do in this game. And it just looks absolutely huge. And I was really looking forward to it after that. But then I saw this new trailer and I was like, it looks all right, but knowing that it's just a sub-quest sort of makes me a bit happier about it again.
Yeah, it's a weird choice to show that because like you said, it's a terrible trailer, and all the stuff that they've been doing around Gamescom, which is like showing all the locations, again showing more little detailed videos about what you can do, going through the forest. They're just much more interesting than that terrible kind of like weird trailer. It's like, what are you doing? Because it would put. I think that might put people off. Just weren't sure about it, but it does look really good, doesn't it? It looks really interesting, this game.
I fully agree with you there. I think people might have seen this trailer thinking that was the whole premise of the story, and it'd be like, well, really? Is that it? But no, it is just a sub-quest.
Yeah.
Side quest.
One of the collector's editions is $300.
Does that come with a wand?
Yeah, it must. I don't know. Hopefully, it should do. It should come with a bloody one of those creatures you ride.
And early access, don't forget.
Early access,
you get 3 days early access.
Yeah.
Everyone's championing the bit for that one.
Not me.
Me and Richard are keen for this one. I'm keen for Richard. But again, it's a...
but you also like Gotham, so...
I was going to say I'd rather play Gotham.
We're not going to talk about Gotham. We'll talk about when
I'll do you a deal, Gareth. You can have Gotham.
I'm reviewing Gotham. You have that one. Again, a massive busy this February the 10th. This one, it's going to be mad this next year. God, the first 3 months. So that's a big, massive game there. And just this is not on the list, but also I've been a big Forspoken fan. But they've just released a trailer of all what you can do on that at Gamescom, and that looks another massive game and looks really good, really interesting. Thanks, Richard. let's go to James for his second game. What have you got, James?
New Tales from the Borderlands,
Which
is a new story, probably a spiritual successor to the Telltale Tales from the Borderlands, which I thought was damn good back in the day. Must be 8 years ago now, maybe less. But I was watching the trailer. I didn't really get any connection to any of the main characters. I think there's 3 new characters this time.
Yeah.
A brother and sister, and then somebody who likes Frogurt, apparently, called Fran. And there's a little bit of humour in the trailer. I like the little gun on legs. That's quite funny. But I don't know if it's a bit of a mistake to bring completely new characters that have, so far, very little personality. Because I know Paul played the original Tales of the Borderlands.
I loved it.
That Reese and Fiona connection and the support characters, they were all fantastic, weren't they? It's going to take a lot to, match that even. And without Telltale on board, I'm not sure how good it'll be. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I do love Borderlands. Did you like it? Anyone else like it?
I think I had the same thing as you, James. I just thought, I'm a bit bored of Borderlands. I have been for a while, and I really liked the first one from the Telltale, and it was just about right, and it wasn't that Borderlands fatigue wasn't there then. I don't think, and the humour and stuff. But I'm a bit like, So I'm not that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it's like when it comes out. But I'm not going to be excited about it yet.
Just I was a massive fan of the first Tales of the Borderlands. I really enjoyed it. But I didn't see, from what we saw in the trailer, I didn't see much of the, how a lot of it was you choose different dialogue options and everything else. Is it the same this time around? Because I didn't really see much of that. It's not, has it stayed with the same sort of, I don't know if it stayed with the same sort of narrative framework, or whether they're trying to move it more into like an action game, which I think would be a mistake.
It'd be a mistake. Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see another Tales from the Borderlands in the same vein as the first one.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's my sixpenneth, as they say.
That's a good sixpenneth. We like that. Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
We
change.
Yeah, change. No change. My second game is Hard Space Breaker. Now, I'm a big fan of anything in space. I love space games. Anything there. And I didn't know anything about this till it was announced. And it's coming on Game Pass. I think it's September the 20th, 21st, around that time. Soon. But then I kind of looked, because I thought, that's sold me. You're in space. And then I looked at it's because it came out on PC in early access on Steam. And it's got some great reviews. And basically, I think you're going there and you're salvaging stuff. So it has that kind of, you're in the ship and you're salvaging, you're ripping down a wreck of a spaceship in orbit. And then you're selling that stuff. So it has that bit of the games I review quite a lot, which is those kind of like house tipper type feel to it a little bit as well, but in space. And that's kind of sold me. I like that.
I don't even remember it. I'm thinking, is this real?
Yes, it is. It's coming to Game Pass. It's coming 20th, which is a big surprise. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I definitely think it is. Yeah, it is. I saw it on the console today. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm going to like it. But I was struggling here because you took all the best ones. All right. But Hard Space Breaker, yeah, that's coming to 20th, so that's good.
That looked dreadful. It really did.
It did. It'd be good for me. I like just wandering around in space. Paul, your third one.
My third one is a follow-up from a game that I quite enjoyed playing when it was first released, called Lords of the Fallen. And this is now, I think they've changed it from Lords of the Fallen 2 to just The Lords of the Fallen. But basically, it looks very... it looks a lot like the first game. We saw a lot of sort of setup. But there was a new thing with what looked like some kind of lantern, and when you died, it brought you back to life, and you were surrounded by dead creatures that were running around and trying to kill you, and it was just like, yeah, this has got my name all over it. It's a bit of a change of tone from the first Lords of the Fallen. It looks a lot more dark and suitable for James or players of a nervous disposition. But yeah, I mean, what more can you say? Big monsters, big swords, bring the two together, Bob's your uncle.
I mean, it hasn't got a release date at all, right? We didn't see any gameplay, did we?
No, it was a trailer, but I quite liked the style of it. I think it's gone very dark, very kind of threatening. So yeah, I'm there for it.
You're keen for that one. Anyone else?
I am indeed.
No. Richard?
No.
Yours.
Yeah.
I'll review it then. Woohoo!
First one, but I did want to.
Richard, I lost you. What did you say?
Sorry, I said I never played the first one. But
sorry. He's giving up hope already. He just went, let's put him into a state of stupor. He thought, I can't stand it. I think I played the first one. It was good. It was good. It was one of the first games that came on the Xbox One.
It was a long while ago. It was sort of 2015, 2016, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Which was the other one that they did that was the more futuristic one?
Oh, The Surge.
The Surge, I played that one.
That was good as well. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Good. Let's talk with Richard for his third one. Richard, what have you got?
The one probably the big one that got re-revealed at the very end, but Dead Island 2. So I'm a big fan of the first Dead Island game. I played it. I played it on release, and then left it for years. And it was only 4 or 5 years ago now, I guess. Me and two friends returned to it, and we played it in co-op, the full thing in co-op. But we always had the fourth party space open, and we had like randomers drop in and out, and one guy joined the game and dropped a gun on the floor for us, and then started shooting at us. As one of us picked it up, we realised that it made everything in that game a one-shot kill. So we then realised we could duplicate that in our inventory. So we absolutely blitzed that game.
Wow!
And had an absolute blast doing it as well, which it might be cheating, but we enjoyed it nonetheless.
Might be.
But yeah, I think the whole having a zombie apocalypse in a more exotic location really worked. This new Dead Island almost reminds me a bit like Dead Rising in terms of it's just going to be a bit more of a funny type, a more humorous zombie apocalypse. But again, it's going to have that more exotic location, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. It just makes it's almost like a bit of an oxymoron, having a zombie apocalypse in these exotic climates. But yeah, it worked quite well for the first one, so I'm interested to see if time's been kind to this second one, because I think from the sounds of it, when they were speaking to the lady afterwards, that it had swapped developers and stuff, and they'd had it for 4 or 5 years, so basically had rebuilt it from the ground up. So it's going to be very different from what originally we were going to get, but I think it should still be an interesting game.
And it's in LA, isn't it? This one. So
yes,
yeah, okay.
Which is a huge area, and they've got a lot to play around with there already.
Which it's not an island. That's what I'm going to say. That'd be the first thing on my review if I was reviewing it. Yeah, no, it does look fun. It looks fun. I I never really got on with the first one, or did I? No, I enjoyed the first one. I had good fun with it. Yeah, I did do a co-op thing.
It was rough.
Yeah, it was
around
really
the
rough,
edges,
wasn't it?
but
Yeah.
it was
broken mess.
enjoyable
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah.
You play with friends, it was good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's why I didn't play it through to completion on my own, because it was all those things, but with friends, it was just a real fun co-op experience.
Yeah.
Especially when you cheat.
Oh.
It helped, but I have no regrets, because even that last boss was just a breeze for us.
Wow. Good, Richard. Thank you. James, your third game, please.
My third game is Where Winds Meet. There's a lovely little trailer for this. It's an open world epic set, I think it's before the Song Dynasty. It's very much in the past. And I didn't get much from it from the trailer per se, but I like the parkour that we saw and the bow and arrow action. I mean, at one point they blew up a boat, so that was quite explosive. But I read afterwards that there's so much more to it than what we saw. Apparently, you can be different occupations in the game. So you could be a doctor, or you could be a bodyguard, an architect. I'm thinking it really didn't convey that in the trailer at all. But it sounds interesting that there is so much choice and freedom to what you can do. It sounds huge. It looked really lovely. The cinematics, at least.
Yeah, it did. It did look really great. It did.
Yeah.
I was really taken by this. Yeah, it really had that kind of epic, like you said, feel to it.
I love it. Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
Wow,
exactly. Yeah, it really did at some point, didn't it? Certain bits. Yeah, but their little climbing mechanics. Yeah, it looks great. We got no release date on that yet, so we just I suppose we might hear a bit more about that next year, but it's not coming straight away. Thank God. Big, huge adventures. Can't do anymore. Good. Yeah, we went to me. That's definitely was one of the. I think that's impressed with everyone. I'm going to talk my third game because it's a. I'm not going to say much about it because we don't know much about it. We start the show with Everywhere. That was the show opener, and Everywhere is by big pedigree of developers, but we had a little kind of teaser trailer. We got no idea. It's basically they've created this new kind of open world experience that's unlike anything else, they said. And we saw things, we saw some driving going on at some point, some people shooting. Then we just saw the whole thing change into cinematics and it became a first person adventure in the third person. What the developers are trying to do, and they're a good pedigree of people who are trying to make something completely different. I think what I'm excited, especially with this generation, is I want to play something different. I feel like I'm playing this. If I see another MMO survival game, or another Souls-like game, or another roguelike game, it becomes a bit like this generation feels like it's got to be something that's going to get something completely new. Mm-hmm. And hopefully, I'm not saying this will be it, but it felt like at least someone's trying something completely different. I'm really excited to see something. But we don't know anything about this. We don't know when it's coming out, what's going to happen. We're going to get more and more details soon. But yeah, it's a good pedigree of people.
They were quite vague, weren't they?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question, please, Gareth?
Yes.
You said that you don't want to see any more survival MMOs, open worlds, or Souls-like games. But did you not get the overall feeling from this show that that's what a lot of things were that were coming out?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of kind of, because people like their stuff at games, so they're going to copy them, like we had for we'd talk about when you do just have that kind of similar things rather than you end up, especially I think because we review a lot of games, you end up playing a similar type of game. Now, not saying these games are bad, because some of these games are great when you kind of replicate a style, but it does feel like I'm following the same format or the same sort of cut and paste of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I
don't know what I mean. I think when battle royales happened first of all, and I know battle royales happened a long time ago. But when it first happened for us on console, I remember me and James playing it for the first time and going, "Oh my god, this is so exciting!" Because it was like something new. It was a different way of playing, of being kind of like hiding in corners, waiting for something to happen, and then you've got 100 battle royales down the line. There needs to be, and there's other loads of experiences like that we've had through the game. I just don't feel like I've had a new gaming experience for a while.
They come in batches, don't they?
Mm.
You get batches of the same types of game. It's like they all went, "Oh, that's doing well. We'll do one."
Yeah.
And then they've all come out at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was zombies, wasn't it, for a while?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're just getting old and cynical, Gareth. That's your problem.
I am. That's what it is. It is that.
I agree with you though. I do. I know the point that you're trying to make, and I do agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, there needs to be something, but there will be. They will. People. They'll be doing it now. All of them. They'll be, especially with the new tech. We're not. I mean, we're in a weird time at the moment, aren't we? We're in the in between time before this. We can see what these consoles can do before they announce the next console next year,
next week.
Yeah. Right, Paul. Your last game.
My last game. Well, I'm torn between a choice of two here, but since I stole it out from under James's nose, I'm going to talk about High on Life. Because I'll probably invite James to join me in a discussion about it.
Yeah.
But I loved the sense of humour that was on display in the trailer. It showed us fighting a boss, and then the gun was saying, "We're hurting her, we're definitely hurting her." Well, the knife just went off on one of the most foul-mouthed rants I've ever heard. It was brilliant. But yeah, I mean, the way that the knife turns into a grappling hook to keep you off the floor and everything else, it just looks like this game is going to be absolutely bonkers. I mean, it's going to be similar mechanics to games we've played before, I'm sure, but I think the sense of humour and the wacky design that's going on in it will make it that little bit of something different that you said you were looking for, Gareth.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let me just bring in the co-host, James, here. What did you think of it, James?
I completely agree with you. With the farmhouse rant, the crazy antics, and I think the only thing we can quote from the entire thing was the knife saying that I don't just stab people, and then goes, "Well, I mostly just stab people." And I love that sadistic knife. It is my favourite character this year. But the one little drawback is that when you watch the boss fight play out, it did draw a little bit. It's a bit of a drag, gameplay-wise. But I've heard that the people that have played it hands-on say that when you play the game properly, it's much better than that. So hopefully, the gameplay will be fun just as much as the humour.
Great. Yeah.
You can't go wrong with Rick and Morty creator Justin Roiland. He knows how to make people laugh.
Yeah.
I think he'll do it with this.
Yeah. I'm with you all the way. December. That's coming December the something? 12th? 11th? 13th. Brilliant. Yeah. Which is good. It's
on
good
Game Pass.
On Game Pass. And it's still this year, which is great. It'll be a good Christmas game. play in front of your family.
Play with Granny.
Can't wait for to see that.
Good.
Get after To Kill a Mockingbird.
Richard, I think we're going to finish the Gamescom on your last one because this is the big one, isn't it, for you? Richard?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't going to mention that one, but I can do if you want. I was going to mention the other one.
Mention the one with S and F.
Yeah, all right. I'll go Sonic Frontiers then.
Yeah.
Which got a confirmed release date after it had leaked a few hours before. So 8th of November, that's coming out now. I still don't know how I feel about it.
Oh no, I thought you and Darren this is your game of the year, was it?
It's Sonic, you're all over it.
Any other situation I would be. I think I think it almost goes back to what we were just saying 10 minutes ago. This is a bit more of an open world Sonic adventure.
Mhm.
And is that what I want from a Sonic game? Or do I just want... I enjoyed Sonic Origins a few months ago and what they did with that. But again, that was just the early games remastered for this console. Sonic Colors was pretty good as well, having not played that when that first released. But I think the last main really good Sonic game that was a new release was probably Sonic Mania. And the only reason that was so good was because it was like the old games. There's always been a problem with modern Sonic games. And I don't know whether this switch to an open world-esque type game is going to mask over that.
I think I read some shocking previews, and this was about 2 or 3 months ago, when they must have given it to a few developers too. Not developers, to journalists to try some stuff out. And they weren't. So hopefully they fixed some of the problems they had. But I think, yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is what everyone's excited about. If you put the chat up yesterday, which is like, again, open the portal to hell, you can see that was what they were all kind of Sonic Frontier. Yeah, that was a big thing, So, well, hopefully, Richard, it will be good. We hope for you, it will be good. Right, let's leave Gamescom because we haven't got much time, so we might only have to do a couple each, really, before we all have to go to bed.
There's loads of time, Gareth. It's fine.
I know. Future game shows. Let's do let's do a couple each first of all and see how we get on. Now, what do we think of future game show? Do you think it was a good? This is a much more pre-recorded thing. Had the 2 voice actors from God of War on there.
Do you know what really bugged me about this?
Yeah.
Was the fact that they were both clearly in the same room, but they'd recorded it at different times. As soon as I realised that, I was like, why have they done this?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. And also the other thing, there was a couple of bugs that just broke. It broke.
Yes.
The stream broke. So and also you missed out. What you were saying is there's poor people who are these indie people who had a game and then it just cut their game out completely. You just thought, oh God, I wonder what they feel about that. Didn't even know what their game was. Do you remember those 2 people went into a fridge and pulled something out?
Well, thankfully, James has mentioned that on his list because otherwise I wouldn't have any idea what that game was.
Oh, there you go, James. Good. Thank God, James.
Well done, James.
Well done, James. Let's go with Paul first of all. Let's go and say, well, Paul.
Hey, let's go with me.
What are you going to talk about?
Well, you might find this hard to believe, but my personal highlight of the whole show was a new sort of expansion for Aliens Fireteam. What was it called? Pan something?
Pants?
Pathogen? Yeah. Was it called Pants? No, it wasn't called Pants, Gareth. We'll have no editorial comments here, thank you. Basically, it's even more Aliens Fireteam. It's even more shooting monsters with big guns. There are extra big aliens to take down and all sorts of exciting fun and frivolity. And yeah, it's just more of the same. And I love it. I love the films. I love the universe. I love the games. And that's all. I will be taking no questions on this subject.
It's out August the 30th. So you'll be very soon. You'll be playing that. Yeah, next week. James, big fan?
Yeah, massive fan. I really love how Paul nailed it in his review. It was spot on. It's really the best game there ever is.
Good.
Oh my goodness! I feel like this is character assassination.
Richard, what's your game from the Future Game Show? Your first one?
I was going to mention the new Dark Pictures anthology game, The Devil in Me, which we got a pretty good look at. So Gareth and I are big fans of this series, and this is almost The Devil in Me is the end of the first season, so to speak. But they look like they've really push the boat out with this one. So I think they were showing off in this trailer that it's going to be twice as long as the other ones, which will put it more in sort of a length of The Quarry and Until Dawn. Characters had an inventory this time, which I think could really work well with the plot of this game being sort of supposed to be based on a real life serial killer. They go to visit these journalists go to visit this haunted house. But then it turns out that whoever's running this house has sort of rigged it with booby traps anyway. So I'm getting like Saw vibes from this, which, if done well, would be really, really interesting to see, because they've got the puzzles this time as well they were showing off. So yeah, I think this one could be a really good way to sign off what is this considered the end of this first season.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 100% behind you. It's November, isn't it? It's coming November, mid-November or something?
18th. It's the same. Is it the same day? No, sorry. Sonic Frontiers is the same day as God of War Ragnarok, and I think this is a week or two after.
Right. Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah, it looks good. They're good games. They're good fun. James, what's your first one?
My first one is A Little to the Left, which is described as a tidying up puzzle game. Basically, you're arranging documents in size order or rotating glassware so that the images line up. It's just basically organising your house for the game. So you're stacking things, sorting things, and I just love the idea of it. I will play it to death, even if it never comes to Xbox. It reminds me a bit of Unpacking. That came out on Game Pass. Just that organisation, just thrilling about it.
Yeah.
Putting things in the right place. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Good.
Probably my game of the show.
Oh my God.
Both shows.
I like the cat. I thought the cat was awesome.
The cat annoyed me.
No, the cat was brilliant. The
I
cat was the winner from that whole trailer.
Okay.
No, we don't need cats.
Right. We don't know when that's coming out,
That's
do we?
November 8th.
Oh, yeah, on PC.
Yeah, November 8th. Yeah.
Okay.
And Switch, I think.
And Switch. Okay.
Xbox, you never know.
It'll
Maybe
come.
one day.
They all do it. They always come over.
When it does, I'll be sure to let you all know how good it is.
Brilliant. I'm going to talk about, first of all, Deliver Us Mars. I think I might review the first iteration of Deliver Us the Moon after I went to see a preview of it, actually, before COVID broke down. Yeah, and I really like that. Deliver the Moon was a kind of very much like a space thing, but like a first person. You know, you're going around, you're solving puzzles, you go up to the moon and you explore this kind of world. This looks much more. They've really pushed it further. I think it's much more. There's a character going on. There's a lot more action. It seems there's lots more. I think it looks like it's in third person, so it feels. Yeah, it's great. I really like the first one, and they were going to have I think it's September release date, and it's been pushed through to February next year. And it's good if they can make this work. They're a really interesting team. I think the first one was two brothers, if I remember. I interviewed them, I think. From Poland, or maybe I made that up. And this is hopefully it's that team again. And they've just pushed it further, but it looks a lot more expensive, a lot more kind of interesting. Yeah, again, it's space for me again. I'm really looking forward to this. I was a bit sad that it left September, but yeah, more stuff to play next year. Deliver Us Mars. That's my one. You can see the way I'm rushing through now. Paul,
is it another space one by any chance?
Another space one. I like them space ones, but I have got something not spacey in it to counter it out. Paul, what's your second one?
Well, my second one I'm going to talk about is...
You might only get two, so really choose between the two which one you want to do.
Oh, my second one is Ereban Shadow Legacy / Goat Simulator 3.
I'll do Goat Sim for you.
Oh, I'll go.
I'm going to talk about that error-banned Shadow Legacy game just because I really liked the way that it explained the movement and things. You are a person who seems to have the ability to be absorbed by the shadows, and you can move through these shadows in any direction. So up vertical walls, and you can even move with moving shadows. So if you need to cross a gap, you wait for the shadow of I think it was a cable car. You jump into the shadow and move with it. And that paired with the combat against these robots that seem to be hunting you, it just looked different. It reminded me a little bit of Origami 2 that I reviewed, where you could almost blend with the shadows in that game. But this was much more. It looked a lot more expansive. It looked a lot more. The movement mechanics really appealed to me. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it does look really interesting.
Mm.
Did it have a release date? I think it was only on PC first, and then it's probably come to consoles.
I didn't see a release date,
No.
If I didn't note it down if there was one, I'm afraid.
Let me have a look at my list of stuff. Keep chatting among yourself. No, I've got nothing. I think I got bored at that point. It's a long night. Good. Thank you. That does look good, Paul. Richard, what's your second one? And maybe your final one. Yeah, it's going to be your final one.
Yeah. My second and final one I wanted to talk about is Layers of Fears, which I'm under the impression now is sort of a remake of the first and the second one together.
Yeah.
But done in Unreal Engine 5, which
looks good.
I think that's the big selling point for me this time, because they're both brilliant games, horror games in their own right. I've played the second one and I've watched a playthrough of the first one. But yeah, to sort of see these first-person horror games then redone in Unreal Engine 5, I think is going to be pretty special. And then also the new stuff that they're adding in to sort of tie these in together a little bit more. So first one's almost a Victorian house with a painter, and then the second one is on a cruise ship, which doesn't... I mean, there's obviously narrative connections between the two, but to see these properly merged together into the one game, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that's done. But also, yeah, just I think these are sort of the games that really got me into horror games when I saw the first one, and to have the opportunity to almost play an updated version, I think is quite exciting.
I think also because these type of games, I mean, especially the second one, it's just shock upon shock upon shock upon shock, isn't it? It's one of those games you could quite easily play again. I loved that both of them, because you're just going from horror to horror to horror. Sometimes there's no time to kind of like sit around and remember where you are, is it? It's like you're just going from it. So it'd be very good to just play, even if it was just a remake of it again. But I think they're doing something different. It just looks amazing as well in their engine. I mean, it's a pretty looking game before, but
yeah, I don't want to sort of cheapen it and say it's like a horror walking simulator, but
it's a horror walking simulator.
It is, but that's not doing it a disservice at all. No. There's a really, really powerful, especially in the first one, there's a really powerful story in that, and then once you figure out what's actually going on, it is quite disturbing at times.
Yeah, terrifying at times. You have some jump scares in there that you just like, oh my god. Yeah, guess when that's coming out? February.
It's a good job there's nothing else out at that time.
Exactly.
Is this one on your radar, James?
No, definitely not. I played the first one for 5 minutes. Got an achievement and jumped off it.
Right.
Right. James, but what is your second and final game?
Goat Simulator 3.
What a great choice.
Absolutely amazing. Not. There's nothing worse to me than a goat simulator game. I don't know why anyone enjoys it, but good luck to them. And I'm going nowhere near it. Even though this one had some like Destruction Derby driving mini game and all sorts of weird stuff. I mean, I give them credit. It is definitely bonkers. That's the only thing it thrives at, is being crazy. But I don't know. I mean, how can you enjoy that? It's just weird.
I think the one thing you can get from what they've done, I think, is if you put having co-op in there, 4 people in there and more. I think that might be quite a laugh for a bit.
I suggest all 4 of us do it.
Yeah,
and I bet it won't last an hour.
You doubters. Did you play the first one?
Yes.
I reviewed it.
So did you play it, or did you just look at it and go, "Phew, it's not my cup of tea"?
I played it for far too long.
Did you get all of the achievements like I did?
Nearly, very nearly.
I thought, honestly, I thought it was so stupid that it was great. You know, you sit there in one breath and you lot complain about how there's nothing new in the world of gaming, and then when something comes along like this that is new, you're just like, "Phew, no, I don't like that. It's too new."
Yeah.
That doesn't invalidate my point.
And, it's stupidity. I've got enough of that 1 hour a week.
Is that when you're watching the Blackpink concert?
Yeah. It's coming though. It's coming in November. Where Paul's going to review it.
No, it sounds like James has got the track record to review it, to be fair.
Okay, who's reviewing it? We're all playing it.
We're all playing it. We're all going to do it. 10 minutes on it.
It'll be great.
Yeah. My last one, which I'm going to choose, I like the chant, but I won't talk about the chant, is Snakoon. You played the little raccoon. That looked nice. I like that. Yeah.
Again, this had Gareth all over it for me.
After enjoying Stray on the PS5, I'm going to be a raccoon now. Yeah, that looked really nice. I don't know if it's coming to Xbox yet. Maybe it's on Steam first of all. I didn't get a date for this one. But yeah, that looked good. You play a little raccoon, you're going around. I like the animation, the style of it, the kind of hand-drawn feel to it. Yeah, it looked great. But I like the chant as well. I'm going to quickly throw that in. That's coming out in November. It's got a date. That looks up my alley. Gentlemen, we've got to finish because we'll be here all night. This is good, though. There's a lot of good games to look forward to. Goat Simulator 3 is James's game of the year in February. We've got lots to play. Now, before we go, what are we looking forward to next week? Paul, what have you got going on?
Well, this week I had to send an email out to all of the people that I look after the IT for to say, I'm not coming to work next week, so if you're going to break something, please do it this week. So my plan is it's my 19th wedding anniversary on Tuesday. As I said to the wife earlier, I wouldn't have got that long if I'd have killed her, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I tell you, the romance is red hot in this house. But yeah, so basically I'm going to go fishing at the weekend, and then I've been banned from going fishing next week because apparently being married for 19 years is not enough of a punishment. I have to then spend time with the wife as well.
She doesn't listen to this podcast, does she?
She doesn't now. Next time I'll post a photo on Twitter later of me with my ass in a sling, and you'll know that she has been listening to it.
Yeah, good. That's cool. Enjoy that. Richard, what about you?
I've got a nice 4-day weekend now. I was due to be going to Leeds Fest tomorrow to go and see Rage Against the Machine until they dropped out. But thankfully, one of the gig venues in Leeds has instead put on a gig for a Rage Against the Machine tribute act. So we're going to that instead. Tickets for Leeds Fest were 90 quid. This one was 11 quid. So there you go.
Good. Oh, did you ever get your money back for that?
I did. Yeah.
My mate was in the exact same situation as you, and he mentioned it that he'd had a right argument trying to get the money back because they were like, "Oh no, it's fine. The 1975 are almost as good as Rage Against the Machine." And it's like,
Yeah,
no.
the fact that they said that it wasn't considered a major change, despite the fact that they had to change headliner of a music festival, but they have now given refunds out. So yeah,
Excellent.
James, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
Nothing really.
Good.
Can't wait.
Good. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to coming out next week. A lot of games coming out next week. Immortality is coming out on the Game Pass. It looks absolutely brilliant. Gets some amazing reviews. It looks bonkers and amazing. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, if we need to find you, where would we go? Richard, where would we find you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram, and my handle is @Dobbo1912.
And Paul, where can we find you?
I am only on the Twitters because I'm far too old for Instagram, and my handle is @XboxHubPol.
And James, where can we find you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram, and my tag is @OGGKO.
Can't believe you don't have a hand.
And you can find me on Twitter and Twitch @DBBridie. But for now, gentlemen, see you next time. See you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter @TheXboxHub and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.